Hello, I'm Morgan Peckma, Editor-in-Chief of City and State, and we are on location on the Upper West Side at a polling place on 76th Street with the Executive Director of the New York City Board of Elections, Michael Ryan. Mike, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thanks for having me again.
So we've heard that despite the higher turnout, that there have been a lot fewer complaints today on the general election than there was in the primary. Is that what you're hearing as well?
Anecdotally, that's what we're hearing as well. Of course, we always reserve judgment to do our post-election analysis to make sure that what we believe anecdotally comports with reality. However, I've visited poll sites in all 5 boroughs, and I found a steady stream of voters who seem to be having a positive experience. We, of course, always will have a small problem here and there, and we'll learn from those problems, but we will also build on our successes as well.
We have heard that one isolated area of problems was the 52nd AD in downtown Brooklyn, near Brooklyn Borough Hall, where Joe Lhota lives. Can you talk about that?
Certainly. That has been traced back to an issue where a technician set up the portable memory devices that serve as a backup memory system. They were set up incorrectly, and they had to be replaced. What happens when something like that occurs, when they boot up the machine in the morning, it sends an error message because all of the systems are not functioning properly. So what we had to do is we had to dispatch technicians to that localized area and have those portable memory devices replaced so that the systems could function properly. Just to get an understanding of how that played out, it was 21 polling locations with 70 machines. We deploy over 3,000 machines and at 1,239 poll sites. So while that's unacceptable, it still represents a very small fraction of the total number of polling places and machines deployed.
When I went to vote in Greenpoint, Brooklyn this morning, no one instructed me to turn over the ballot, and I didn't receive any written instructions to look for the referenda. I mean, has that been, did you talk to the workers in advance and instruct them to make sure that people knew to vote on the constitutional amendments?
Certainly, I'd like to extend my apologies to you on behalf of
I accept your apology, Mike.
Yes. Clearly, that's part of the training. It's also been something that for the folks that have bothered to listen to me over the last several weeks, it's been something that I've been trumpeting. As a matter of fact, you'll see interspersed throughout this polling place that we had a large poster size of not only the face of the ballot, but the back of the ballot as well, where the referenda are located. And certainly we want our voters to fully participate, which means also consider the 6 proposals on the back of the ballot.
Another issue that has arisen this election has been the size of the font on the ballot. When we were with Neil Rosenstein from Knightburg earlier today, he was saying that despite the fact that state law mandates the font size to a certain degree, that the Board of Elections could have also made 5 different variations of the ballots, each with 2 languages, and distributed the appropriate ballot to the appropriate speaker of the language. I mean, what do you say to that solution?
It's not as simple as those folks would have one believe. First of all, there is a cost associated with the consumable items, i.e. the paper ballots. So we have to balance the cost, as well as keep in mind each one of those scanning machines, the over 3,000 that we've deployed throughout the city, is an independent freestanding computer that has to be programmed properly. In addition to that, we have very extensive test decking requirements that we have to go through to make sure that the ballots are readable. For the voters, they'll see it, and I don't want to get hyper-technical here, but you'll see a series of dashes on the side of your ballot, on each the left and the right side, as well as going across the top. Those are timing marks. They have to match up with the oval so that the machine can read the ballot. So if we're going to start printing 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 ballots, we then have to be able to test each one of those ballots, in addition to incurring further paper cost. We have to be able to do that, and we have to make sure that the machines are all working properly. So there is no one-size-fits-all solution, but we will work with all of the concerned groups. We're not happy with the 6-point font either, and we have to look together with the State Board of Elections as well as the legislature to come up with a comprehensive solution. And I have been as engaging of the good government groups as anyone. I want them to participate in the process. We're certainly open to suggestions, but those suggestions just weren't possible for this election cycle. But that doesn't mean we should be satisfied with a 6-point font from now and forever.
We heard some problems with the machines this morning that I believe that you attributed to the transporting of the machines, that something within the wiring or within the machines got messed up just transporting them, which
Right.
seemed to me a little surprising that the machines could be so sensitive that they couldn't effectively deal with being transported.
Initially, what was reported to me that they were speculating that portable memory device may have become loosened during the transportation, which could certainly happen. If anybody thinks about a flash drive that gets plugged into a USB port, that could certainly happen. But what it turned out to be, in fact, was, and it's probably going to be linked back to a single technician that burned, using a tech term, the PMDs improperly and caused a setup error. So that initial report, which I engaged in some speculation this morning based on preliminary analysis, it turns out to be a specific setup issue and not related to the transportation of the machines.
Okay. And you've been to, you'll have visited all 5 boroughs today, right? Was there anything that you witnessed that you particularly will take away as a lesson for future election days?
No, actually, I've seen a steady stream of folks. Everybody seems to be relatively calm and happy. I didn't see any major incidents at the sites that I visited, and certainly we will, as we always do, engage in our post-election analysis and make sure that we learn from our mistakes, but also build on some of the successes that we've had.
And lastly, there's about 2 hours and 15 minutes until the polls close. Can you tell us who any of the winners are going to be today?
Not at this point. No, we have to wait till the voters speak, and we have to wait till they speak with finality, and that will occur at 9 p.m. tonight.
Michael Ryan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.